Good morning, friends, and welcome to the new course that is Crack Your Dreams in 100 Days. Today it is the first class, and we will be dealing about the quality. So, before going now to the syllabus, let me give you a brief detailed explanation on how the UPSC will be asking the question in quality and which are the main topics of the topics for prelims. Every year, UPSC is going to ask on an average of 13 to 14 questions for prelims based on the quality subject. And based on the quality subjects, we have some 10 to 12 important topics which you were necessary to note down. That is, first topic is preamble. Every year you can search the question papers of the previous year question papers. Every year there will be one question on preamble, one to two question on fundamental rights and duties, one to two question on parliament or executive, one to two question on president and governor, one question on judiciary, university relations, emergency provisions, amendment procedures, schedules. These are the very important topics that UPSC will be always asking the questions. How they are going to ask means the first question might be like this. Based on the preamble, they will be asking whether the preamble contains the any important words such as equality, secularism, or many other different words, or even it could be an amendment number. There is a 42nd amendment, or it could be asked based on the sources. So these are the ways that the UPSC will be asking the questions for its UPSC aspirants. And here we will be giving you the detailed picture analysis. In fact, going through the theoretical analysis, we will be going through the picture analysis so that you will remember for the longer time. And let us start the class with the preamble. As I was discussing, why do we need a constitution? Or before going there, what is a constitution? That is especially for a country, why we should need constitution. India affords unity in diversity means if you are having 3 to 4 members in the family itself, you will be having different ideas. And the same different ideas cannot be applied everywhere because of the norms. So, in order to have the coordination and assurance in the society, we should need some rule book, and we call it as a constitution. Means a constitution is a derived source or a sacred book in India from which we will be getting the rules and regulations. And these are the five different features of the important features of the constitution as per the NCERT. One is coordination and assurance. Among whom coordination and assurance? Among the papers of members of the parliament, among the members of the legislative assembly, among the bureaucrats, among the judiciary, everywhere the coordination is assured. Then limitations of the power of government. If we have the power, we will try to do, or we will try to suppress the backward classes, or we will try to suppress the economically deprived classes, socially deprived classes, everywhere. But this constitution is will enforce the government not to suppress the economically deprived class, but it will try to empower the deprived class. So it is going to put the limitations on the powers of the government. Next is the fundamental identity of the people. What is the fundamental identity of the people means they will be getting some of the fundamental rights and some of the fundamental duties. And next is aspiration and goals of the society. As I said, the government will try to provide some of things such as welfare state and many more which you will come to know in upcoming classes. And next is the specification of decision making powers. Decision making powers means you are having directive principles of state policy, which is having a specification of decision making powers. Okay, so these are the important features of the constitution. Here you can raise a question whether all the governments in a country or in the world does have the same type of constitution. In UK we have a set of documents. In US there will be a 5-page document and this is called the constitution. But we Indians are having the largest constitution in the world or the largest democracy in the world. What is democracy? Upcoming next topic. See, India adopted the constitution on November 26, 1947, 49, November 26, 1949. It adopted it on the Republic Day, that is January 26, 1950. It started its drafting on December 1946. Means these 3 years the drafting committee has worked under the chairmanship of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and they have come across the various sources across the world, and these are very much important dates because the UPSC will be asking the questions based on these 3 dates, that is November 26, 1949, January 26, 1950, and December 1946. These are very much important questions, and this constitution was brought under the national consensus or broad consensus among all the people or among all the representatives in the constitution committee, constitution drafting committee, and we have a balanced institutional design. Means instead of having vertical powers, we are having horizontal powers. So what is that horizontal powers means? We have independent election commission of India. We have independent judiciary. We have independent UPC Union Public Service Commission. We have independent CAG. Means if the powers were divided vertically means, and if it was concentrated or centralized on particularly one hand on the top, then we will call it as a vertical government or vertical powers sharing. But here we are having horizontal power sharing so that no one is on the top. Like we are having a judiciary to control execution, and judiciary will also control legislation. Executive and legislation are interdependent. So what is that? What I am trying to say is that here, because of all these reasons, we are having a horizontal power. Horizontal powers means every institution is having its own working style and working nature. And next, I will be discussing something about the history of many constitution. History of many constitution I will be giving in detail in history subject. Now I will be giving you some of the acts which you need to know. Okay. So these are the very important acts that made us to form the constitution. Means during the bench of foreign mistakes, regulating act was formed. I will be explaining all the details, or our team will be explaining all the details of this act in history rather than making a point in polity. Because in the history book, NCERT is given very detailed explanation, so we will be looking on to this in history itself. First is Regulating Act 1773. Next is Precedent Act 1784. After that, we got three continuous Charter Act 1813, Charter Act 1833, Charter Act 1853. Then Government of India Act 1858 after the freedom struggle, means after the first freedom fight, that is Sipahi Mutiny. Then again Indian Council Act 1861 and 1892. Then Government of India Act 1909, Government of India Act 1990. Then Simon Commission. Then Government of India Act 1935, August October, Cripps Machine and Cabinet Plan. I will be giving the explanation on Cabinet Plan here. Means on what are the basic features we had adopted the drafting committee. The drafting committee had an initial rule that there should be one person for 10 lakh people. There should be a representative for 10 lakh people. And the seats were generally divided for three particular categories, that is one for Muslim, Sikh and General. Depending on the representation of the area, they were taken. And one more thing is that in order to have representatives from the prestige state, the kings or the princes were taken into consideration, and the remaining provincial states were based on the election. Initially, there were 292 provincial representatives and 93 princely representation was there, means totally 385. But after the bifurcation of India and Pakistan, this 385 was reduced to 299. This 385 was reduced to 299 because almost 86 representatives were represented from Pakistan and most of them were Muslims. So we had a drafting committee from 1947 June of 299 members only, and the main points of the objective resolutions what they have passed is India is an independent sovereign republic. India shall be a union of erstwhile British territories, that is the Commonwealth territory. Territories forming the union shall be autonomous units and accessory. Means autonomous units means it is having its own autonomy power. Every power will be accommodated in India's constitution, and we will have something called equality before law, equal opportunities, fundamental freedoms of speech, worship, vocation, association, action, subject law, etc. Minorities and backward classes will be having special advantages. The territorial integrity of republic and sovereign rights, and finally right to property. These are the main objectives or the main points of the objectives resolution that was passed in 1949, November 26. Moving on to the next topic, as I earlier said that Indian Constitution has been derived a lot of its ideas from various other constitutions. So, since US elections are going on, we are predicting the first topic for you, that is the sources in this. Means UPSC is going to ask for various sources of various topics, like from the British we have taken parliament reform, speaker rule of law, single citizenship, and the law-making procedure. What is parliament reform? There will be two sources. and we will be having a prime minister, and he is the head of the government. Next is speaker role. What are the functions of the speaker? Then is rule of law. So what is rule of law? Providing equal opportunities and equality under the law. Next is single citizenship. Whereas if you go for US, we'll be having it, we'll find double citizenship. Whereas in India, we have a single citizenship. Then we adopt a lawmaking procedure even from the British Constitution itself. Then DPSP has been borrowed from Irish Constitution. Presidential election method and nomination for the Rajya Sabha has been taken from again Irish. From the French Revolution, we have derived liberty, equality, and fraternity. And from United States, we have taken fundamental rights, judicial review, and removal of judges from High Court and Supreme Court. Then from Canada, we have quasi-federal state, means a strong union government as well as a very moderate state government. Then we have adopted residual powers from the Canada, and from the Germany we have adopted emergency provisions, and finally from Australia we have adopted concurrent list. So these are the various sources for our Indian Constitution. And now next we will look on to the key features of our Indian Constitution. The key features of Indian Constitution are federalism, parliamentary form, separation of powers, fundamental rights, rigid and flexible mode. So what is federalism means? We already, as I have said, that we have a strong central government and a very moderate state governments which will be following the rules and regulations that are set by union government in some of the matters, and the state government itself will be taking some of the decisions as mentioned in the schedule list number 7. And next is that we have a parliamentary form. Already I have said that what is parliamentary form? Parliamentary form means we the people are sending various representatives for various tiers of the government. That is for the central government, state government, and even for the local level. And one more is separation of powers. The separation of powers will be exercised among three different organs of the parliament, that is executionary, legislative, and judiciary. Will be having control on these two things. And next is that the amendments that we made to our constitution will be having some for rigid mode and some are flexible mode. That you will be coming to know the various things like simple majority, ordinary majority, special majority. Will be coming in further future classes. And one more important key feature is that we have fundamental rights that has been depicted in even in preamble, that is to maintain the equality and so many other things. So these are the key features of Indian Constitution. And in 2014, UPSC had asked about the question why India is being what is the parliamentary form, and it had given various options. And as per the NCERT, it had given the answer format that it represents, we Indians represent the different kinds of representatives for the different types of government. So these are all necessary for the Indian Constitution, the key features of Indian Constitution. And our team is expecting why India has adopted federalism in 2016, because in 2015 option subject there was n number of federalism based questions. So our team is predicting one question from federalism. Again we will be in further next classes. Okay, so next topic is that democracy. Why we should have democracy, or why we have adopted the democracy. And democracy means by the people, of the people, and for the people. It promotes equality among citizens, and it enhances dignity of the individual. Next is that it gives or it improves the quality of decision making. We will discuss everything from one by one. As we are discussing about the democracy, already I have said that it is by the people, for the people, and of the people. So, what is enabling means it is enabling the accountable and responsible government for the citizens of India. Means whenever the government is accountable and responsible for its decisions, they will be having lot more concern for the society, to work for the society and for the betterment of the society. And since we Indians or our India is a developing country, we have we Indians are depending a lot on the government for for various developmental works like employment or any other things. And so we have some of the important points, means some of the outcomes of the democracy. It provides the equal opportunity for its citizens. Next is that it provides a method to resolve conflicts. That is, we are having the constitution and we are having a judiciary system, and based on whatever the decisions that have been taken within the parliament, it can undergo judicial review in any of the courts in India, especially Supreme Court and High Court is having these two powers, that is jurisdiction. Next is that it enhances the dignity of the individual. Already I have said that constitution will enable us the fundamental identity. Like that only we have it enables the dignity of the individual, and we have some challenges also. Means every coin has two faces, and in the same way, we have some problems from democracy also. What is that democracy means? Every 5 years the leaders will be changing and the ideas will be changing. Back in 2012, the UPSC government had, the UPI government had taken various steps on food and development of agriculture, but after the NDA government, those policies were renewed and some of the policies were left. So these are the challenges of democracy. Means every now and then, if the leaders are changing, then the ideas will be changing. So the development works might be getting reduced. So next is that since India is a patriarchal society, we doesn't have much of the women places in the parliament, and this is also one of the problems of the democracy. Means in the democracy, we always try to give more platform for the patriarchal society or the men. And next is that we have to redefine the democracy. That is, the rulers elected by the people must take all major decisions, and this should be implemented. This should be implemented by the bureaucrats, and that has to be done by the efficient commissions like UPSC, and the election should be conducted by the separate election commission institution, and the choice and opportunity should be given to everyone on the equality basis, and the government should limit very basic exercises only, and it should not forbidden most of the things on the citizens. So since already I have said that Indian government is the longest, Indian government is having the longest constitution of the longest democracy in the world, and the oldest is the American. These two are important for this year because again and again I am saying that American elections has been is in running, so we have to take care of these questions whenever America and African states are coming. So these two are important for the democracy. And one more is that we have already have said that the powers has been divided from in the form of horizontal, not in vertical powers. This is also one of the outcome of democracy. And next we will begin. Let us go to the preamble, and then we will discuss about the part 1, part 2, and part 3 for today, and let us work it out. So next topic is preamble. We all know that, and most of my students are from the B background. We all know that before submitting any project, thesis or report, we will be producing some synopsis. So in the same way, before going to the book depth, we should be knowing what is there in the book. So that is what preamble is doing. Means preamble is going to give you the basic ideas of the constitution, and it acts as a source of authority. Means it is giving n number of sources or n number of ideas about the constitution, and it mainly deals with the following 5 words, that is sovereign, social, secular, democratic, and republic. What is sovereign means? India is being ruled by its own constitution. India is not ruled by any other country. India is following the rules and regulations that has been set from the constitution, and the constitution is acting as the sole authority. Means it is going to authorize everything. Next is that after the 42nd amendment, we India considered ourselves as a socialist society. What is socialist society means? The government is going to give the more advantages for the socially deprived classes such as SC and ST. And next is the preamble is giving a special provision for the secularism. Again, it is adopted from the 42nd amendment. What is secularism means? Respecting each and every religion. And in the initial period of the class, I said that India is having the unity in diversity concept. So we are having a number of religion, and depending on the religion, we are not. The government is not bifurcating any religion or not showing any discrimination for any religion. And next is democratic. Already we have studied in detail what is democracy and why democracy is needed for the country like India. And next is that we have something called republic. Republic means in India anyone can become the president. Depending on, in most of the countries it will be based on the elections. Even in India we are having the elections, but it is in the indirect form, and we will be coming to know about the elections in tomorrow's class. And we have some 4 objectives of the Indian state, that is justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. The justice, we have to look after 3 different things. One is social justice, one more is economical justice, and political justice. What is social justice means? Today Indians are facing a lot of problems, and most of the rural side and backward classes, deprived classes, that is socially deprived classes, SC, ST, OBC. We can see that Kanaria case, or we can see that Rajiv Venkata case, or even we can see about Dadri King or any other case. So we should have some social justice. Next is economical justice, because India already, I said, India is a poor country, not in terms of money but its ideas. So we have to generate or the government should give economical justice to its citizens. Next is political justice. Anyone can participate in political justice. That should be the provision should be given. That provision should be given. Next is liberty. Liberty, equality, and fraternity are the ideas that has been borrowed from the French after the French Revolution. What is liberty means? Liberalization to follow any religion, liberalization to follow any caste, liberalization to follow any language, Like this, we have given the liberalization, and next is equality, equality of status for women, equality of status for different class, and one more is fraternity. Fraternity is the promotion of fraternity or the ideas of spiritual and psychological unity and the integration of integrity of the nation. Okay, these are the ideas of preamble. These are the means preamble acts as the source of authority, and these are the ideas of preamble which is enabling us to have a very good constitution, and this forms the basic structure of doctrine for the constitution itself. And next topic is that we will be dealing about the Article 1 to Article 32 today. Means part 1, part 2 and part 3. Part 1 deals about the Indian states and unification of states or bifurcation of states, etc. etc. And next is that part 2 deals with the citizenship. Part 3 deals with the fundamental rights. So now let us take one part 1, that is